In the dusty, forgotten corners of what was once S.H.I.E.L.D, a lone archivist named Elias Ward made a discovery that would shatter the very foundation of heroism. He stumbled upon a hidden data vault, one that wasn't meant for human eyes. It was a celestial archive, an ancient library of cosmic significance, and within it, he found the truth about Earth's mightiest heroes. The Avengers Initiative, the heroic age, all of it, was nothing more than a calibration event. Holographic projections flickered to life around him, bathing the room in an ethereal blue glow. He saw familiar faces, titans he had idolized, but they were recontextualized, reduced to mere data, points in a grand, terrifying equation. Tony Stark, Iron Man, was labeled the distraction, brilliant but chaotic force designed to keep humanity's eyes focused on terrestrial threats, away from the cosmic puppeteers. Thor, the god of thunder, was the bridge, a living link to other realms, allowing the Celestials to gauge interdimensional stability. The Hulk, the unpredictable variable, attested the planet's raw, chaotic potential. And then he saw him, Captain America, Steve Rogers, labeled the stability anchor. He was the constant, the moral compass designed not just to inspire humanity, but to keep the experiment on its predetermined track, ensuring the narrative unfolded exactly as written. Every victory, every sacrifice, every heartfelt speech was just a line in a script authored by gods. The Chitauri invasion, Ultron, even Thanos and the Snap, all were just plot points, carefully orchestrated tests to measure humanity's response to fear, loss, and hope. Elias felt a cold dread creep into his soul. The heroes weren't saviors. They were lab rats in the most elaborate maze ever conceived. He spent days, maybe weeks, lost in the archive, cross-referencing celestial star charts with historical events, piecing together the horrifying tapestry. He learned that Earth was just one of countless emergent intelligence experiments, scattered across the galaxies. Most failed. A few, like Earth, showed promise and were allowed to progress through various stages. The Age of Heroes was simply the final phase before a judgment would be rendered. The entire history of humanity was a story being told, and its final chapter was about to be written by someone else. Clutching the data slate containing the irrefutable proof, Elias stumbled out of the archive and into the blinding light of day. He expected an empty world, but instead, he was met by a figure floating against the sky, haloed in cosmic energy. Captain Marvel. Carol Danvers didn't look surprised. Her expression was one of profound, ancient weariness. Before Elias could even speak, she said the words that confirmed his worst fears. "You found it." She admitted everything. A select few, those with a cosmic perspective like herself, had known the truth for years. They were the silent observers, the wardens of a planetary prison, tasked with maintaining the illusion. The world couldn't handle it. Elias, she explained, her voice devoid of its usual confidence. How do you tell a species that their entire existence is a lie? That their struggles, their love, their art, is all just data for a cosmic report? We chose to give them a story they could live with, a fight they thought they could win. She revealed that this timeline, this version of Earth, had already been marked for termination. The experiment was concluded. The results were in. The Avengers had played their parts perfectly. Elias, now burdened with this apocalyptic knowledge, knew he couldn't let the lie continue. He transmitted a coded message to the few remaining Avengers, a summons to a shattered, forgotten facility in the wastelands. They arrived, battle-scarred and tired, but still standing. Steve Rogers, his shield scratched, but his resolve unbroken. Bruce Banner, a man who had finally found a fragile peace between himself and the Hulk. Clint Barton, a father who had seen the universe take everything and had fought to get it back. In the hollow shell of the building, Elias projected the celestial archive for them to see. He showed them their labels, their preordained roles in the cosmic drama. He showed them Steve, the anchor designed to keep them steady. He showed them Tony, the firework meant to draw all eyes. He explained that their greatest triumphs were not their own. The silence that followed was heavier than any planet. It was the sound of legends breaking. Steve Rogers stared at his own holographic file, the word stability anchor pulsing softly. Every choice he ever made, every time he stood for what was right, was it ever really him? Was his unwavering morality just a part of the program? The air crackled. A pillar of blinding white light descended from the heavens outside the facility, and from it emerged a being of impossible scale and form. A celestial emissary. Its voice was not a sound, but a thought imprinted directly into their minds. The narrative of humanity is concluded. We are here to close the book. Your purpose has been served. Your story is over. It was calm, detached, like a librarian archiving a finished volume. There was no malice, only an overwhelming sense of finality. This was not a negotiation. It was an epilogue. The heroes looked at each other, the weight of their fabricated lives pressing down on them. Despair was a tangible thing in the room. What was the point of fighting the god who had already written the ending? But then, something shifted. Steve Rogers, the man designed to be the anchor of the old story, took a step forward. He looked not at the emissary, but at his friends, his family. His voice, when it came, was quiet, but it echoed with a defiance that was entirely his own. No, he said, the word cutting through the cosmic dread. He turned to the emissary, his eyes burning with a fire that was not part of any design. You wrote the story. You set the stage. You made us dance to your tune. But you made one mistake. He lifted his shield. You taught us how to fight, and you taught us that some things are worth fighting for, even when there's no hope of winning. A slow smile spread across his face, the first genuine smile he'd had since seeing the archive. Our lives may have been a lie, he declared, his voice rising, but our ending will be our own. He wasn't the stability anchor anymore. He was the man who was about to break the machine. The emissary tilted its massive head, a flicker of something akin to curiosity in its cosmic gaze. This is not in the script, it projected. Then it's time for a rewrite. Steve roared and charged. One by one, the others joined him. Banner let the Hulk roar, not as an unpredictable variable, but as pure, untamable rage directed at their jailers. Hawkeye knocked an arrow, not as a soldier, but as a father fighting for a future his children could choose for themselves. They weren't fighting for survival. They knew they couldn't win. They were fighting for something far more important, the chance to fail on their own terms. They were fighting to prove that even in a universe governed by gods and destiny, a single, defiant choice could echo into eternity. We don't know what happened in that battle. We don't know if they shattered the Celestial or if they were simply erased from existence. But in that final, desperate act, they did something no one, not even the Celestials, had predicted. They broke the narrative. They tore up the script. The fate of the universe was no longer a foregone conclusion. For the first time, its future was unwritten, uncertain, and terrifyingly, beautifully free. They didn't save the world. They freed it. And now, the end of the story is up to us. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this dive into the what-if possibilities of our favorite heroes, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe for more deep dives into the comic book multiverse. See you next time.